Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
On this Easter weekend, Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Hallelujah. And happy Easter to you and your family. Here comes Kate Smith, and God Bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. It's a beautiful morning. Oh, good morning. Good morning. And I talked to some good people up in Oregon a few minutes ago, and they said it was raining up there. I hope it doesn't come down here. Good morning. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, celebrating a big spring tire sale right now, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call 734-6969. Right now, it's time for our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
He is risen.
He is indeed.
I'm sorry, Zeb. Okay, here we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You know, that's the problem with a little bit of a delay on the line, and I apologize for that. This is a very, very, very sacred weekend for me and my family and our beliefs, as I'm sure it is with you and your family. And for those that might be offended by that, then I suggest right now you probably better turn the dial.
That's exactly right. You have choices.
Absolutely. Sir, I thank you on this Easter weekend. Appreciate your call and the pledge. Thank you so much.
God bless.
All right, sir. You too. Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Time for the weather. Let's see if that rain in Oregon is coming this way. The weather brought to you by Ramsey Heating and Electric, offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's a gas furnace, air conditioner, or a heat pump, you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Call them at 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox can save you money. Here's Gina.
Well, today looks like spring. Tomorrow, put your hair up in a hat, and Saturday we might be able to get to work in the yard. Here is your weather forecast for this is Zeb at the Ranch. Yes, windy for today out of the west, right around 19 miles an hour. 90% chance of rain showers for today as well. Ooh. High of 55, tonight low of 37. Tomorrow, winds, they're still going to be around out of the west, right around 20 miles an hour, but partly cloudy skies. High of 48, overnight low of 29. Everything calming down for Saturday. Sun is going to shine, high of 55, overnight low of 34. Then for Sunday, mostly cloudy skies and 64. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
And brought to you by Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Merv May, come on in. Let's sell some cattle. Good morning.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there, here to get $1.31, $1.31.
Oh, that's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, a good friend of ours, Merv May, along with Cade Rogge, Lance Udy, the whole crew at the sale that works for you, the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Sale time today at 11 o'clock. Don't forget, for cattle consignments and sale information, call 678-9411. Here's just a partial list of some of the cattle going through the ring today. Cody Beck, Jack from Golden Valley. Hello, Cody. Bringing in 170 head of 700 to 800 pounders. Spencer Land and Livestock up at Yost, Utah. Semi-load of 750-pound heifers. Gary Rose, Park Valley, and the crew. 40 to 50 head of 600 pounders. Butchered cows coming in from Acme Dairy, TLK Dairy, and Oak Valley Dairy, along with the trailer line run. 11 o'clock sale time at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Sale today at 11 at 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and I sell them $1.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
Oh, my. Hey, by the way, I get a chance right now to remind everybody that we're going to be over at Denny's Restaurant next, don't confuse it with today, next Thursday, the 20th. And we want to say thank you to Smith's Food, Handsome Mortuary, Stokes, and Doug Martin, and everybody else that helps supply door prizes. But we'll be at America's Diner next Thursday, the 20th, and you can stop in anytime, all the time at 611 Overland and Burley, Denny's Restaurant, and 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. It is America's Diner. Oh, check out their new list of great burgers. Woo! They are fantastic. And whether you like breakfast, lunch, or dinner, they've got something on the menu for everybody. So you stop in and see the crew, nice people, at America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley. They are waiting to serve you. Well. We've got a lot of things to cover this morning. And some places around the world have been cowed into not having an Easter service this year. Now, I got to tell you that I'm saying this with a white knuckle because this just infuriates me. The Christians anywhere in the world would have to cringe and cower in fear because of shootings, bombings, beheadings, burnings by absolutely worthless vermin that want to see Christianity wiped off the face of the earth. So some of these places, Egypt and some in Europe, etc., have decided rather than risk the celebration of our risen Lord, Jesus Christ, that they're going to cancel the services and basically say to the bad guys, oh, you win. Now, I know here in the United States where we have more security and more safety, you're probably saying to yourself, well, that's easy for you to say, sitting where you are in your studio, etc. Well, yeah, maybe it is too easy for me to say that. But it has to be said. We have to stand up and not in this instance, and I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody in the pulpit on this point, not in this instance turn the other cheek. It is time not to ever turn the other cheek again when it comes to these evil, evil people that are trying to stamp out Christianity around the world. Maybe you don't agree, and that's the first talking point for this morning. Give me a call and let me know what you think about Easter cancellations. Basically giving in to the bad people and saying, oh, okay, we won't celebrate Easter anymore. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I know there's enough good people out there that are going to comment on this, so give me a call. Don't forget, for all of your heating, cooling, and electrical needs, it's Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-0459. And they're open 7:30 to 5, Monday through Fridays. Holy cow, these are good people, and they've been serving you for well over a half a century. Wow, and they care. Please get a hold of them today. Ramsey Heating and Electric in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Come on, please. My audience doesn't weaken. And so please give me a call at 436-2244. While I'm waiting, I also want to acknowledge our friends at Berry Equipment and Rental, and three locations to serve you: South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. They have all the equipment to get the job done right. That's right, from the big Doosan loaders. Man, those big puppies can get in there, and they can get the job done. Along with the Bobcat excavators, they've got all the equipment rentals and the retail equipment sales. And, of course, don't forget the Walker mowers. 0% interest for 48 months and mow like a pro. Berry Equipment and Rental, South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West, Twin Falls, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Berry Equipment and Rental. Your turn. Come on, give me a call. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. In a related story, I find this to be so offensive that if this were in a school near here, I would be broadcasting on the front lawn, or if they wouldn't let me on their property, I'd be broadcasting on the street, wherever, absolutely condemning the school for allowing this to happen. But there are schools and that are trying to force and coerce and twist arms of very, very unknowledgeable kids in our country. And I don't know if you heard the story or not, but there is now PBS, Public Broadcasting System, is airing and showing a training and solicitation program for ISIS. Chew that for a second. Chew it very well before you swallow it. PBS is showing a training and solicitation program for ISIS, and the title of it is Dying to be a Martyr. Now, we already have had stories about Islamic education programs that are invading our school systems, and some have even been funded by the United States Department of Education. We had Martin Moyer from the Christian Action Network on our program a week ago, and their claims are valid. They're claiming students and teachers are being encouraged to promote Islamic beliefs through the Learning Media website, a site operated by the Public Broadcasting Service that provides free learning materials to students and teachers, and PBS is supported by donors and taxpayers. Listen to this. And the Christian Action Network says this is nothing more than indoctrinating students into the Islamic religious beliefs, duties, and actions. Oh, and by the way, as part of a fairness doctrine, a search for lesson plans covering Christianity, Buddhism, Mormonism, Protestantism, Catholicism, Taoism, and Hinduism. Oh, well, they couldn't find any. 0 results. What do you think of this? I mean, pretty quick you're going to be talking about this locally. It's a wave, a terror wave that is going across the country. It's a sign of the times. And are you just going to sit back and say nothing? Or are you going to get involved? I know I am. Off of this program, if something like this happens here that I can actually do something about, I'm going to fight these people. And some of the things that are being taught in these films, like students are tasked with watching the videos and reading the articles about Muslims' prayer life, including learning about Islamic prayer movements and postures. One question asked students after watching detailed instructions about Islamic prayer, how do you think it feels to know that millions of other people are praying with you just like you every day? You know what? They're trying to have an inclusiveness. And these kids at very, very wary ages to where they can be indoctrinated so easily are falling into their hands. And teachers are even instructed to have students meet with Muslim leaders in the community Audience, where are you on this? Call me at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call, don't forget Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. They help me so much, and they can help you. They know all the exercises with all of their highly trained physical therapists, and they've got that hydrotherapy, say that again, please, hydrotherapy pool, the only one of its kind in the area. And I'm telling you that you will feel better. They can help you get back to being you. So please call them for an appointment today, 678-1191. That number again, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. That number again. Don't put it off. Call them, 678-1191. They are good. All right, come on, callers. What is it, a Thursday morning? Everybody's kind of taking a little respite. Don't forget, coming up, the Southern Idaho Women's Expo. They're going to open the doors in about 40 minutes. Yep. And it's sponsored by the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce, Idaho Central Credit Union, and Idaho Housing and Finance. Now, it starts at 9 o'clock this morning, and it's at the Burley Best Western Inn and Convention Center, and they're going to have excellent speakers, lots of great business booths, all kinds of excitement there today. So don't miss it, and it's going to be starting in about 40 minutes at the Chamber, or I should say at the Best Western Burley Inn in Burley. 9 o'clock starting time this morning for the Southern Idaho Women's Expo. All right, callers, come on. Your turn. Give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. North Korea is doing more than rattling sabers. After watching many, many newscasts on this and reading a lot of papers that have been put out on North Korea, they, along with Iran, and I say Iran, because I'm not going to mention Syria, because I think Iran is actually the instigator, the promoter, the quarterback, if you will, the head coach, if you will, in the Middle East, and I don't trust them at all. I think they are nothing more than vile, sinister human beings out to absolutely see the annihilation of the United States. And I think North Korea, in sync with Iran, is absolutely going to spread us out even thinner. Now, there's something going on right now this morning, leading up to this Saturday or Sunday, because they have really started to shake, rattle, and roll over there in North Korea with all kinds of different threats, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and the United States had better be wary. They may, according to some reports this morning, have the technology, and this really scares me, to launch missiles that have the sarin nerve-killing gas. Some people on some of the websites and some of the people that I've talked to with various news media outlets in New York and Washington, D.C., have said there may be the capability of putting these in warheads, and they may be able to hit our West Coast. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. That's just about the biggest mess that we've ever been in. But it's because of Obama's falling behind or leading from behind, whatever you want to call it. He is behind. That we have these problems. But they've all got to be solved. And I think President Trump is trying real hard to do that. But the news media that is fighting him is unreal.
Keith, I'm going to ask you a question. You're just a little bit older than I am, but I've got to ask you this question, and be very, very honest with me. In your lifetime, have you ever been as worried about the world affairs and what's going on with these crackpot leaders that absolutely have no bona fide caring for not only their people, but any human beings in the world? Have you ever been as worried as you are possibly now? I mean, history, they say, always repeats itself, but have you been this concerned before?
No, I haven't. The closest I've come to it was when the Cuban crisis with President Kennedy.
Yeah.
And I did not vote for him, never did really embrace him in any way. But he didn't back down. He's just like Trump that way. And I think that's the only chance we have is for Trump to continue to stand up for the American people. And these people are fighting against him, our Americans.
Yeah.
You know, and these propagandists, news people, this mad cow, she just drives me crazy because she's got so much anger in her that's unreal.
Yeah. Keith, again, you and your family, your wife Nancy, I hope you have a wonderful Easter weekend. Thank you for all of your calls and concepts. But I've got to get another break in here real quick, but I'm glad you answered that honestly. I am exactly like your feelings. I remember vividly the Cuban Missile Crisis with John F. Kennedy. And I remember sitting up in my room doing my homework, and on the radio there was a lot of thought that we would be in a nuclear war in not too many more hours. And I remember the fear. And right now, with North Korea and the mess in the Middle East, I'm starting to have those same feelings.
Yeah, and one of the things that really worried me was I was discharged from the Navy in 1958. But at that time, you were required to be a member of the Naval Reserve, and I had a critical billet number. And a lot of people don't know what that is, but it's something, one of the first people that they would call up.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I remember that situation well, but this one here, we're fighting about 4 or 5 fronts.
Yeah, I know it.
Problem.
And that is that's what the world's wanted, Keith.
Yeah, or anything. It's everybody.
Yep. Got to run and take another call. Keith, God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Caller number 2, I'll be right there. Don't go away. Please stay with me. Ag Express is looking for drivers. Ag Express is looking for you. Call Dale and Paul, 438-8886. Alan in Twin Falls, 731-2495. Russ and Burley at 431-7175. They're looking for full and part-time positions. They're looking for retired folks that want that extra income, work 2 or 3 days a week. And they've got great vacation schedules, benefit programs, all of this and more. Ag Express is looking for drivers. Ag Express is looking for you. Once again, ladies, Southern Idaho Women's Expo coming up in about 30 minutes. They're going to open the doors at the Best Western Burley Inn Convention Center. Oh, my goodness. They've got lots and lots of vendors. They've got lots and lots of interesting subjects to cover. Great speakers. You don't want to miss it. You've got time. Jump in the SUV and get there at the Southern Idaho Women's Expo at the Burley Best Western Inn starting at 9 o'clock this morning. Hurry! Get in there. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, you know, this frosty relationship with Russia, you know, the liberal media has been beating this thing for 8 months, and they have accused Putin of everything. And as much as it seems as though it didn't really have any effect, it really has had an effect on how Russia feels about us. And I guess, you know, you'd think they would understand it, but maybe they just don't understand the liberal media like we as Americans do. But Russia has no strength. They have no industry, really. And, you know, Putin can, you know, try to be a hard butt, but he doesn't have any, you know, it's just smoke.
Yeah.
And he knows it. And so does Trump and Tillerson. And so this thing with them, there isn't nothing there to it. But, you know, Putin is not going to sit there and, well, his ego's in the way, and he doesn't want to look weak. And for 8 years, he's been running the show, so to speak. And, now all of a sudden, he's getting whipped. He don't care for it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have the backing to do anything anyway, so I don't really feel that there's an issue there. North Korea is a very serious issue, and but the Chinese have shown signs of, deciding that something needs to be done. And yesterday's vote at the United Nations to abstain was a sign that they realize that Mr. Trump and the rest of the administration is running the show.
Yeah, but wait a minute, Randy, wait a minute. Let me jump in here. That's all well and good. Everything you said is all well and good, and we can only hope that everything that you commented on, that you had heard via the news media, is going to come true or is validated. But I don't trust anything or anybody when it comes to statements about what they think they're going to do or are going to do. I don't trust this fat little Pillsbury doughboy that calls himself the leader of North Korea any more than I could throw a Volkswagen over the top of my house. I think he is such an anti-human being that he would start a nuclear holocaust and just sit back and twiddle his thumbs. I am very concerned about what's going on there. I'm very concerned about Iran playing other countries in the Middle East like puppets against us. And when you look at the entire world situation, we have, I think, for the first time in our country, a major political party, and I'm just going to come right out and say it, the Democrats, that are so doggone stupid right now that they can't see the handwriting on the wall, that we'd better bind together as a country because we're having the whole world fall apart at the seams.
They are. The world is disintegrating, and there was a void for 8 years, and people were trying to fill it, but they were incapable of doing so. Now Trump is back, and the void is being filled by leadership. And the rest of the world's having to decide just exactly how important they are and if they're going to abide.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Randy, thank you for your call this morning. And by the way, to you and your family, happy Easter weekend.
Yeah, happy Easter. And
thank you.
You bet. Bye.
All right, buddy. Hey, don't forget, we're going to be talking to this lady next hour? No, in the 10 o'clock hour. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, Dr. Christine Pickup. And boy, oh boy, if you're having any kind of hearing problems and you're thinking to yourself, well, it's just old age. No, it's not. It might be chemical problems with maybe some of the medication. It might be some other health problem. Please call her and make an appointment. And they're located right across from the Minidoka Hospital emergency room. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Number to call, 312-0957. 312-0957. You call her today. And we're going to be talking to her at the Southern Idaho Women's Expo at the 10 o'clock hour. Thank you very much. Let's see, what else have I got to tell you real quick, and then we'll have some more of your calls. Come on, give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Minute Cash of Sales. Hello, Zach. Did you hear his daughter, Abby, call in yesterday with the Pledge of Allegiance? Wow, I miss her. I mean, I absolutely miss Abby doing this. She is a young lady right now. Minute Cash of Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, and they've got all your overhead doors, they've got all your interior doors, and all your western windows, too, along with the luxury vinyl planking. Oh, you got to get in there and check that out for the beautification of your home. All you have to do is see Zach and the crew. Hold on a second. Pardon me. Zach and the crew at 1321 East Main Street in Burley, and they sponsor Dr. History every Tuesday at 10:06. All right, your call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Why? And I want your opinion on this. Come on, folks, it's your program. Call me and let me know what's going on in your thoughts, your world. And I'm going to say this, not to all politicians, but I'm going to generalize it to most. Why do our politicians, hold on, caller, I promise I'm coming. Why do our politicians not understand, and I am absolutely shocked over this, that ISIS is here in the United States? training here, waiting here for a massive attack. They're here. And they do nothing, and they say nothing, and they claim that they've heard nothing. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. I'm with you on that. I mean, there's been so many books written on it, so many complaints about these terrorist training camps that are going on in this country. It's really unbelievable. And, you know, the United States economically is one of the major players that's keeping the economy going throughout the world. And what do you think is going to happen if we go down?
I don't even want to think about that. You know, Tony, you said yesterday on the program, I believe, that you are 87 years old and you are as spry and sprite and you are full of vim, vigor, and vitality, and I have the utmost respect for you. But in your lifetime, and you got about 18 years on me, I'm worried about where we're at because I don't see the concern, and I see people just basically saying, come see, come saw. Nobody wants to get involved. Nobody wants to actively be an American, wave the flag proudly, and stand behind it. And the Democrats are trying to cause more trouble sometimes than the Middle Eastern countries are.
You know, one of the reasons are, I'm sure you're aware of the fact that the city council has caved in on liberalism. What else can we expect? We're going to be going down from inside. Now, what's happening here today in Twin Falls, I've been through over 50 years ago in the city I came from. Now, I'm not going to go into the details over the air.
Good.
But I see what's happening. We're going to be destroyed from within. And I've got that background behind me. But like I say, I'm not going to bring this up over the air.
Well, you know, Tony, I know that there's circumstances and information that I don't want on the air unless I verify it myself personally, and I respect what you said there. But I see so many people and so many groups that are absolutely heck-bent on tearing apart our country, tearing apart our Constitution, tearing apart our security. Look at, let me go back to about 20 minutes ago on the program. I told you that PBS, the public broadcasting system, is showing a training and solicitation program for ISIS. I mean, what more proof do you need that we're acting like a bunch of knotheads?
Well, the key to the destruction of the United States is to brainwash the young kids the minute they get into school on globalism, communism, socialism, Muslimism, and these kids are going to grow up knowing nothing more than what they've been programmed from the first grade on till they graduate from college.
I agree.
This is what's going to kill this country.
I agree. You know, let's end it on a brighter note as we still see blue sky out there. I wish you and Mary a very happy Easter weekend. God's blessings to two dear people. Thank you very much.
And we will get together again, Zeb.
I hope so, buddy. Thanks. I appreciate it. My turn to buy. Turn to buy. Thank you. Hey, don't forget Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert, 436-3200. We're going to have Amy on our program next hour. And they really, really make every effort to make Autumn Haven the best place for the members of your family. That's right. And they invite the public to come by the facility anytime for tours and check them out. You know, they always say they're smaller compared to some, but they have a bigger heart than most. Please check it out today. Give them a call. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center at 924 Christian Way in Rupert, 436-3200. All right, your turn, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I saw this morning, I didn't see it, I heard it. I was in my office doing some paperwork before the program this morning, and I had the newscast blaring loudly in the other room. And they had a millennial on the program that absolutely was, boy, you talk about a strong condemnation. He was giving the rest of his age group a what for, verbally. Woo, my. He was really calling them what they are. Worthless little crybabies. My, oh my, did he go into it, and he was 100% right. He talked about the safe spaces on college campuses, and he said, grow up. You're in college. You're the adults that are coming onto the scene. Grow up. Safe spaces. And then these total nincompoops, these kids that have no bearing, no basis, no look to the future, nothing. They're a bunch of wimps, are complaining at this Duquesne College because Chick-fil-A wants to come in and put a booth or a quick food service stand in their, I believe, College Commons location. I got that all stuttered up. I apologize for that. I was looking for the paper. But anyway, he said, no, we can't have them there. Why not? Well, because Chick-fil-A, they're against the LGBT. They're against transgenders. So we can't have them on campus. It makes us too nervous. Why? We just couldn't have that. Why? We'd be scared to death to have them on our campus. What are you talking about? If you don't want to buy a sandwich, are you scared of a chicken sandwich? That's what it boils down to. Are you afraid of some chicken nuggets? My goodness, these kids are a bunch of worthless wimps. So if a chicken sandwich makes them feel unsafe and uncomfortable, from my generation to them, whew, this world is not going to be passed off to some very competent people. I can't even imagine being afraid of something so you withdraw and go into a shell. Oh, if Chick-fil-A comes onto our college campus, oh, tear your hair out. Oh, my goodness. It's free enterprise in a capitalistic system. They can go anywhere they want to if they're given permission to build here, there, and everywhere and run their business. If you don't want to go eat there, you don't have to. But these wimps, snowflakes, whatever you want to call them, of that generation, you just have to shake your head and wonder, what did their parents not do or do to create this much of a mindless offspring? Time for the weather, brought to you by Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center, 382 North Overland and Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care, 2392 Addison Avenue East in Twin Falls, and Jerome Urgent Care, 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. Caller, I'll be there in a minute. Stand by. Minor emergencies, major care. The doctor will see you now. Not in 4 or 5 days. He'll see you now. And they're open 7 days a week to serve you and your family. And by the way, too, they have what's called the Dennis James Memorial Scholarship. Students, listen, be sure and get to the Burley Clinic or go to the webpage and get more information on this scholarship. Absolutely very worthwhile for you. Urgent cares around the area serving you, and here's Gina with the weather.
Well, today looks like spring. Tomorrow, put your hair up in a hat, and Saturday we might be able to get to work in the yard. Here is your weather forecast for This is Evan at the ranch. Yes, windy for today out of the west, right around 19 miles an hour. 90% chance of rain showers for today as well. High of 55, tonight low of 37. Tomorrow, winds, they're still going to be around out of the west, right around 20 miles an hour, but partly cloudy skies. High of 48, overnight low of 29. Everything calming down for Saturday. Sun is going to shine, high of 55, overnight low of 34. Then for Sunday, mostly cloudy skies and 64. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Brought to you by the Urgent Cares. Minor emergencies, major care. Riverview Urgent Care in Burley. Twin Falls Urgent Care, Twin Falls. Jerome Urgent Care in Jerome. You be sure and stop in and see them. If you have a minor emergency, they'll provide major care. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Hey, all this talk this morning reminded me, years ago I heard kind of an Astoria analogy, and it had to do with Christians, but nowadays you could apply it to your citizenship or your you belief in the Constitution or whatever, but it goes, and I'll make it short. Anyway, you're asleep, you hear this, you're woke up by this horrible noise, there's people outside, they're rounding everybody up in your town, they're going down to the football field, there's big fires burning, and you're standing in line going, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? And in front of you, and I'm going to put it the Christian because that's the way I heard the story, there's a girl, and oh my goodness, you find out that you have to denounce your faith or your citizenship or whatever. Okay, and they ask her, do you denounce Jesus? Do you denounce your Christianity? And you're thinking to yourself, oh, she never will. She goes to church faithfully on Sunday. She's good, she's kind, and she says, yes, I denounce it. And so they let her go. And this goes with several people. But anyway, and then there's a boy right in front of you, and you think, oh, no, he will now, he'll say, nah, Jesus, no way. And it's his turn. Because he never goes to church, he never, let's go to the Constitution, he never votes, he whatever. And they ask him, and he says, no, I will not denounce. And so they throw him in the fire and burn, and now it's your turn.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people are going to criticize me for sounding morbid on the show this morning, but I'm going to be very honest with you. Your point is so well taken. It is past time for Americans to stand up for this country and stand up for a moral value in this country and family values. Let me ask you something, and do you have children?
I do. I have 5 of them.
Okay. What are their ages?
35, 34, 33, 27, and 21.
Okay, well, see, your kids are about in the same age bracket as my children are. Where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong as parents, or did the next generation below us, where did they go wrong with these millennials and this thought of, my goodness, they're little snowflakes that have to be so protected and they can't stand up for anything? Where did we go wrong?
We gave them everything they wanted. We said in front of them, oh, my child would never do something. We never punished them because that was, we never expected anything of them. They never had to, yeah. I don't know my kids, and that never say in front of your child. And I'll give you a perfect example. One of my children, their father said right in front of them, my child would never lie to me. Well, guess what? My child became a really good liar because they knew that their dad would believe everything they said, regardless of what.
But, when you think about the values of this country, and honestly, this really bothers me because I'm of that generation that I can respect, like the Russell Smiths that have been 3 times recipient of our Purple Heart. I can respect the George Faulkners and other people in this area, the Fred Prestons and the George Masses and all these people, and I don't mean to leave anybody out, that have fought for this country and offered themselves up as a sacrifice for that flag. And I look at these kids, and what are they going to offer up?
No.
Yeah, that's about right. Thank you for your call.
Nothing. Yes, there are good kids in this country, but there's so many that have been given everything. I mean, it's like...
Yeah. Thank you for your call. I hope you have a wonderful Easter weekend. Thank you so much.
You have a very blessed Easter.
Thank you. I know I took some heat a week ago when I was condemning the millennials. Now, just hold your horses to a walk here for a second, folks. For those of you that complained, I also paid tribute to a lot of great millennials that are really seeing the future and acting on a career with the talents that God gave them. But, I never hear about the good things that we do on this program and the good things that we put forth for you to listen to. But a couple of you great listeners really found fault with the fact that I was criticizing the younger generation. Well, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop because they are a bunch of wimpy snowflakes that have no direction, have no purpose, have no value, and they are not doing anything to contribute to our society except just be leeches. Not all of them. You know that. Don't go there. But there is a vast majority of numbers that we have to worry about that are these silly little losers. Oh, we got to have a safe space from a chicken sandwich? Are you kidding me? Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's a gas furnace, air conditioner, or a heat pump, you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Call them at 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox can save you money. Hey, let's say good morning to Zach and Brett and the crew over at Kelly Bearing Supply, 1407 East Main in Burley. I tell you what, they got the neatest slogan. You'll know where you're at when you get your bearings at Kelly's. Amen. I love that. Drop in and see Zach and Brett today. They are the bearing specialists. And don't let your machine sit there idle, not doing a doggone thing while you're waiting for a part to come in. You go there. They keep everything right on hand at Kelly Bearing Supply at 1407 East Main in Burley. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you?
Well, long time no talk to.
It's old, what's his name?
It is.
It's been a while.
Yes.
I've been jumping on the bandwagon and yipping and yapping about the Bolshevik Revolution, and it's been exactly 100 years now, 1917, that Lenin won his point, take from the rich and give to the poor.
Yep.
And here we are, and, it's very poignant because right in this area there are thousands and thousands of people that got out of Russia, and more specifically the Black Sea area, Ukraine, and the Volga area, and ended up here in southern Idaho before the Bolshevik Revolution began. And a lot of millennials are now great-grandchildren of those people who came here and escaped, and they don't know how they got here, and they don't care how they got here. Yeah. And they could care less. And yet, it was their great-grandparents and grandparents who left Russia for freedom and left family there, and they have relatives that are still living in Siberia, and they don't even know who each other is. And so, there's just idiots everywhere.
Gary, let me ask you, I'm really up against the wall on time here this morning, but we're at a position right now where I look at the younger generation, and in massive numbers, these snowflakes that have absolutely a worthless attitude about doing anything, trying to learn about anything, trying to add to our society, do anything about making America better. What are we going to do?
I have no idea what we're going to do. We're so far gone now that you can't, the people are not even talking to each other. Families aren't talking to each other. Democrats aren't even talking to Republicans to get mad at each other. Right here in this area, you can't talk to each other. Church members can't even talk to each other. The younger generation is not, children aren't talking to their parents. If they have a difference of opinion in politics or religion, it's it's this virtual reality crap that's going on, and it's show me the hole in your hands, and I'll believe then that you were on the cross. It's the same relationship that parents are having with children now, or children are having with their parents. Otherwise, they're not talking, and they don't believe that this crap can happen. They just don't. They don't want to hear it.
I agree. Gary, please, we need to get you back on the program and draw the similarities again and the correlation again of what happened 100 years ago to what is happening today. God bless you, and happy Easter this weekend. Thank you.
Well, it sort of began then, but it goes all the way up until World War II, so it's not just 100 years ago, because after the Battle of Stalingrad is when those people were really forced out and run right out of Russia and forced into Siberia. So it's less than that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That really happened with the rest of the people. So it's much sooner than that. And when you were talking earlier, 1960, that generation that changed, that's the year I graduated from high school, and spoiled rotten brats that we were not the same people that our parents were.
Absolutely. I got to run and get.
1968, our country had changed.
I got to run to the news, Gary. God bless you. Happy Easter weekend. Thank you so much.
You too.
Thank you. Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, doing the right thing matters. And they've got a great big spring tire sale going on right now. What are you waiting for? You got to go to Aunt Martha and Uncle Fred's across the river and through the trees and everything else. We'll make sure you drive safely with a lot of the tires that are on sale now at your Magic Valley Les Schwab tire centers. Oh my goodness, like the Eclipse tire on sale, all season traction, advanced tread design. It's on sale starting at just $61.74. Holy cow! And along with the great brake service and the front end alignments and the shocks and the struts and the batteries, the service. Man, they come running out to your vehicle at a high low. May we help you? Yes, you can. They do the right thing because it matters. Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got to run to the news. I'll be back in 7. Don't go away. Oh, my goodness, we got to hurry. We've got a lot of things to do this hour. Welcome back to Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and a big spring tire sale going on right now, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Way Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Way Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Way Services.
Springtime, spruce it up, clean it up, throw it away, whatever. I'll tell you what, get a dumpster in various sizes from Western Way Services and just have fun throwing stuff away. You know, really, it's kind of a cleansing motion. Anyway, get those dumpsters and fill them up, and then Western Waste will come and get them. All you have to do is call them at 734-6969. Always at your disposal, Western Waste Services. You get a hold of them today. Oh my goodness, don't forget on Mondays we have a program called Gardening for Idiots, named after me. I'm not much of a gardener, but Vicky is teaching me at Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. And don't forget, 20 years in business. And they've got all your garden plants, your seed, your bark, your decorative rock, everything all over there at Vicky's Country Garden in Paul. And Monday at 9:15, Gardening for Idiots. And me and Miss Vicky will be on the air. There you go. Also, too, I want to remind everybody, let me just get this in here real fast. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's a gas furnace, an air conditioner, or a heat pump, you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Call 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox can save you money. Right now, we are going to head on down to the Southern Idaho Women's Expo at the Burley Best Western, and on the phone with me is the lovely Chamber of Commerce Director, Kyla. Good morning. How are you?
Well, good morning, Zeb. Thank you so much for having us on our show. I hope you can hear me okay because it is loud in here. How are you?
I am good. Now tell me, the doors opened roughly about 8 minutes ago. What is the turnout? Are you happy, or are you standing all by yourself?
No, I'm pretty excited, actually. That's why it's so loud in here. We have got all sorts of vendors. We are full. We have over 50 vendors. And the ladies are on time and coming in the door. So it's pretty exciting. It's going to be just a beautiful day outside and just a wonderful day here inside the Southern Idaho Women's Expo.
Now, tell us a little bit about the scheduling from maybe some of the women that are running late. They don't want to miss anything. What's going on at different time intervals during the day?
Well, the first thing that we have up is at 10 o'clock. We're going to have Today's Your Day, so get on your way. Dr. Stuart Norris and Dr. Devin Higgins of Cassia Regional Hospital are going to give a review on just diet, exercise, sleep. They're going to have snacks provided by Cassia Regional Hospital dietitians Kylie Peterson and Laura Clements. It's just going to be a really fun morning. And these guys are just, when you hear them speak, they've given a few presentations around town. They're not going to give it in the medical jargon. They're really going to give some honest answers. It's going to be a fun morning with these two guys, and I just can't wait. And then we'll have some time that folks can spend to go look around all these vendors, and then at noon, Supreme Court Justice Robin Brody will be our keynote speaker. And then after that, we'll have a little bit more time. And then at 2 o'clock, comedian Susan Rice performs. And we are just very, very thankful to Arctic Refrigeration and also to Kazra Regional Hospital for their help in terms of getting some excellent speakers to come and talk with everyone. And it is full here. And I actually have someone here with me if you want to talk to him as well, Zeb.
Okay. All right. And who do you have?
I have Cameron from Elite Restoration, and I guess I just want to make the point that, yes, it's the Southern Idaho Women's Expo, but we have got men that do attend this too. And as you know, women make 70 to 80%, this is what Forbes magazine and a lot of data have shown, of the purchasing decisions in home and at work. And so, this is an expo that, yes, is aimed at marketing to women, but let's just be honest, men should be here too, because if you want to find out what women are into, this is going to be the place to be. So I'm going to have you talk to Cameron, because I think he's such a brave soldier to be here today, and he's right in front, so all the ladies are grinning at him when he comes in the door.
All right. Good morning, Cameron. How are you, sir? Is he there? Cameron, can you hear me? Good morning. The name is Zeb, and you must feel like a thorn among roses down there, do you not?
You could say that occasionally, but like I was said, women do make a lot of the purchase decisions when it comes to the home and around the home, and so we're happy to be here and to answer any questions for any of those that come through the door and want to know more about what we do as a restoration company or how we might be able to help them out.
Okay, now what is the name of your business again? What is the name?
I'm hearing you.
What is the name of your business that you represent? Say that again, please.
Yeah, we are Elite Restoration.
Okay, and you're
deal with wind, water, fire damage. So we had a pretty rough winter, as most people know. So we're super busy out here.
Well, I tell you what, Cameron, I really give you kudos for your brave attitude of being there with all those wonderful ladies. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for being a part of the Southern Idaho Women's Expo today. And put Kyla back on real quick, and then we've got to wrap it up, okay?
You got it. Thanks, Zeb.
All right.
We enjoy being here.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Kyla, are you there?
I am here. Yes, sorry, it is really crazy.
No, that's fine. I'm so glad it's being successful. I'm so glad that the Southern Idaho Women's Expo is turning into everything you wanted it to be. I know you've got a busy day. I'm swamped here, and I've got to get another caller on. But God bless you and all the wonderful ladies over there and the men that are participating at the Southern Idaho Women's Expo. Thank you, Kyla, from the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, Zeb, thank you so much for your help. We just appreciate your support so much.
All right. I'll talk to you next Thursday.
Sounds good. Thanks, Zeb. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you very much. Whoa, you could tell they were busy over there with the great amount of people in the background. So we certainly appreciate everything that Kyla does on behalf of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Hey, real quick, I want to get this on. Our friends over at Arc Animal Hospital, oh my goodness sakes, they have warm hearts for cold noses. All you need to know and remember, of course, is that they are a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small, they love them all. And right now, all dog owners, you should be very, very concerned about making sure that you have your dog or puppy vaccinated against the parvovirus. It's a highly contagious viral infection, and believe me, you want to make sure that your dog or puppy is going to stay healthy. So check that out at Arc Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street in Heyburn. Number to call, 678-1177. They do have warm hearts for cold noses. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and I believe that we have with us Jason Lee from Lee's Furniture, Floors and More. Good morning, Jason. How are you?
Doing well, Zeb. How you doing?
I am busier than a one-arm paper hanger this morning. You'd know that feeling, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey,
Run.
tell me, what's this about a no-tax plan sale that's going on till the end of April? Tell us a little bit about that.
You know what? We have a lot of really good specials right now. And at the moment, we have through the end of the month, so till May starts, we have a special where we will be making up the difference for all the sales tax. So just a great savings on top of our already marked down prices. You know, for instance, Zeb, we have a really good buy on mattresses right now. I've got some pocketed coil queen size mattress and box spring, so it's the set. It's regularly $1,500. On the special right now, you're only $599 for the set.
Wow, now that is quite a saving.
Oh, it's an outstanding promotion that we have going on right now. That's just one of the many. I have a queen size mattress and box set starting at just $199.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, they just kind of go from there. Some of the other really exciting things we have going as well, I have a 6-piece living room group. That is a sofa, a love seat, the 3-piece table group, and a rug for only $9.99. There's many different sofa loves to choose from. There's different table groups. You can come in, take a look. We actually have our interior designers that have put together a few different options. You can also just customize that however you want. But a really good buy for those who are needing to revamp their entire living room, just at a great price. You know, it's under that $1,000 threshold for the entire living room.
Absolutely. One of the things that I got really spoiled on about 5-6 years ago was the great recliner that I bought from you folks. That is my chair. Nobody is allowed to sit in it anytime at anywhere. And I'll tell you what, you've got a great selection of recliners.
We sure do. And you know what? We're getting new ones all the time. Just an idea, I've got a really nice rocker recliner at $299. Very comfortable, kind of a sleek look, very tight, clean look. $299. I've got them $399, $499. You know, I've got a really good range. We've also got a number of brands from Ashley, Catnapper, Jackson, Southern Motion, Flex Steel, Windermere. You know, we have a wide variety of different brands as well, and they each offer their own unique qualities and aspects to each of those chairs. So we really have a chair that could fit just about everybody.
You know, folks in the audience, this is the young man that I had on my program about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. A young millennial that absolutely has got his head on straight and sees a goal for the future because he's carrying on the family tradition. And Jason Lee, I'm very proud of what you said and represented on the program that day. And you've got a heavy burden on your shoulders to maintain that family status in the furniture business, don't you?
Well, you know, we do our best to provide the best quality, best customer service, and you know, we realize that price is very important as well. You know, as far as consumers go, and so we do everything we can. We know where the industry is, and we know where we need to be to make sure that we get the best price for our customers. So we go to an extra length to make sure that we make sure they're very well taken care of.
You know, one thing we didn't talk about the last time you were on the air, and I think it's worthy of mentioning because it's true with any business. An owner or a manager is no better than his staff, and you have some excellent, knowledgeable people over there.
You know, absolutely. The thing that I love about our staff is everybody kind of brings a unique background, whether it's our interior designers that can help you really coordinate colors or patterns or help you design an entire room, or you know, if you're just looking for just the one piece, you know, they can you can kind of tell them what you have in mind. They can throw you some really nice options. And you know what? Our staff is just, they're just wonderful. Couldn't be happier with who we've got here in the store.
I'll tell you what, these are wonderful people. This is a nice gentleman right here. Jason Lee, thank you, at 459 Overland and Burley, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. I hope you and your family, your whole staff, everybody, all have a wonderful Easter weekend. Jason, thank you so much for being on my program.
Thanks for having me, Zell.
You betcha. Appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Jason Lee, nice young man. I really appreciate him being on our program. Don't forget our dear friends over at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, with Joel Heward, manager, and, of course, his family and the staff serving, and that's the key word, you and your family. When there's the passing of a loved one, I mean, everybody just doesn't have a clue as to what all needs to be done in such a short period of time. Well, call them. Hanson Mortuary at 436-5636. They always treat you and your family with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity, and can help you and help take care of all the arrangements. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. That number again, 436-5636. Serving you and your family. You call them today. Also want to remind everybody that Let's Ride. Oh, I'm going to forget the weather forecast. I'm going to forget that Gina said we should have a 90% chance of rain tomorrow. Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm going to forget that and say go check out all the four-wheelers, the side-by-sides, everything at Let's Ride, where the fun is sold at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Oh, my goodness. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 4. You better get over there. All the accessories, great service department. If you already have a four-wheeler, get it serviced to go up in the hills this year. Oh, my. Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 in Rupert. And don't forget, this is where the fun is sold. And real quick also, I want to remind you about Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. To protect you, your family, and your business. They are there. They are dedicated and responsive to your needs and always accessible. All you need to do is just pick up the phone and call them at 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance. The best, the professionals, Highway 24 in Rupert. I had this lovely lady on our program a couple of weeks ago. And I learned a lot from her because they are a very caring business. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, and they're located at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. Amy, are you there? Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. I am here.
For those that really don't understand what an assisted living center is, kind of give us a synopsis and a breakdown of what the meaning is.
So coming to an assisted living facility means you just need a little bit of extra help. A lot of folks that come to our facility, they need some help with some dressing, bathing. Maybe they're tired of cooking meals for themselves and they're not eating as much as home, and it's difficult, so they need some help with their cooking and laundering and housekeeping. Those are the kind of things that we take care of for our folks at Autumn Haven.
Amy, do a lot of people, they probably don't understand what it means to have a loved one that just can't take care of themselves anymore, and maybe due to job responsibilities or living outside the area, Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center is exactly the kind of place they need to look for their relative, right?
Correct. You hit that right on the nose.
Now, what about visiting the facility and finding out more about the staff and how it works and everything? What are the hours that you're open?
So our office is open Monday through Friday. There's always somebody in the office, either myself or my office manager, Alexis, and our administrator, Angie Darrington, is also there. But we encourage anybody who has any questions or just wants to come see what our facility is about. I encourage them to just come on in and have lunch with us, and I can sit down and visit with them and just tell them all about what we can do for them.
Now, going into the summer months, I would imagine that a lot of people think, oh my, I don't know if I want to just have to stay in my room all day long. It's not like that at all. You really get your residents at Autumn Haven involved in the community, don't you?
Oh, we do. We have a beautiful patio. We're really excited this year. We've had some money donated to the facility where we're going to be able to purchase extra pots and flowers. We're going to have a raised garden bed in the backyard this year. We have a beautiful patio where people could come and sit and enjoy the outdoors, read a magazine. Our front entrance also is a really nice place to sit in the summertime. We have a pretty quiet area where our building is located in, so going for strolls outside is safe, and it's beautiful outside, though, in the summertime at Autumn Haven, for sure.
One of the things you told me, Amy, a couple of weeks ago was that you really support and try to keep on supporting local businesses. Explain that to us, would you please?
We do. We purchase our meats locally from local ranchers, so we have local beef that we serve at the facility. We also purchase meat and groceries from Stokes and Smith's. We try to support local business as much as possible because we know that's important to the members of our community.
Absolutely. Now, how big is Autumn Haven?
So we are a 16-bed facility. Each room is a private room with their own private bathroom.
Okay. And again, you invite the public to come by and visit anytime. Is that correct?
Anytime. Come on over. We'd love to meet with you.
Okay, now, for those that might not know exactly where you're located, kind of give us a geographic tour as to how to get there, and then also the hours that you're open.
And so we are located at 924 Christian Way, which is right next to the hospital, the Minidoka Memorial Hospital. We're right in, kind of behind them. And our office hours are Monday through Friday. You can come in any time because obviously we're a business that's open 24/7. But if you want to see somebody that's in the office, come in Monday through Friday is the best. If you come in on a weekend, please, leave your name and phone number. I'd be glad to return your phone call and set up a time where I can meet with you.
Is it fair to say that Autumn Haven, small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most?
Yes. We are a small facility, but that allows us to provide a better center person care, which is something that everybody deserves and needs.
Amy, thank you for taking the time this morning to come on our program from Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert, 436-3200. Have a wonderful Easter weekend.
Oh, you too. Thanks for having me, Zeb.
All right, take care. Thank you very much. Very nice lady right there. Very nice lady. And Autumn Haven, appreciate what they're trying to do and are doing in the community. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see. I've got this note, and you should be aware that Ag Express is looking for drivers. Ag Express is looking for you. That's right. They need drivers, full and part-time positions, and they're looking for even retired folks. Hey, you want a job 2 or 3 days a week? Yep. They'd love to talk to you, and they've got new and maintained equipment. You're going to be home every night, and they've got great vacation schedules and benefit programs. Oh, my, you'd better call Dale and Paul at 438-8886, Allen in Twin Falls, 731-2495, or Russ and Burley at 431-7175. It is true. Ag Express is looking for drivers. Ag Express is looking for you. Oh, my goodness sakes. Let's see. What else have I got to get done this half hour? I have been swamped, and appreciate all your patience out there. At 10:30 this morning, we're going to be talking to Steve Beeman. He is one of the most recognized and qualified economic experts in the country, and we're going to be talking to him about what he thinks is going on with the Trump administration versus the world economy. So that's all coming up at the 10:30 part of our morning, so stay tuned for that. Right now, we're going to go over to the radio station Through the River and Through the Woods, and the lovely Rita Ramsey, I believe, is on the line. Good morning, Rita.
She hasn't called in yet, sir.
Well, good morning, Wheels.
How are you this morning?
You know, I got to tell everybody, Wheels has become the most reliable employee. I mean, we threatened to dangle him over the Prime Bridge one day, and all of a sudden now he's there every morning, just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. You're doing great.
Well, thank you, and I'm glad that I'm able to fill in a couple minutes of your time until she can call in. I'm hoping that she calls in soon. So let's put our hands together and pray.
There you go. Well, it's a good weekend for that because it is Easter weekend. And I've got one more good word that I can pass along. And I'll tell you what, I'll just hang fire for Rita to give us a call. And I'll just tell everybody about this dinner real quick. Don't forget tonight. Tonight is at 6:30, the benefit dinner and auction for the Whitaker family up in Malden. They had their house severely damaged by the flooding. My goodness, this is terrible. And they're going to have a dinner and auction tonight at the Raft River High School gym. And for more information, call Lindsay Udy at 431-5514 or Julianne Loftmiller at 539-7303. Right now, I believe she should be on the line. Good morning, Rita. How are you?
Good morning. I'm real good, thank you.
Okay, I don't even know where to start. Another busy news week. I think I'll start with North Korea and Syria, Iran, and Russia. All intertwined, joined at the hip, and also joined at the lip of creating a major problem for the new Trump administration. What are your thoughts?
Well, I feel like that this is something that we could expect. Just about the time Obama leaves office, all these guys get a little brave and decide they're going to see if they can step over the line and see what the president does. We know that the stuff that's been going on in Syria is problematic. It's been that way for a long time. And Obama just escalated the way that things were going with that, and it's a sad deal with what happened, and I'm not sure that I agree with Trump doing what he did, but I guess on the other hand that it was probably something that he wanted to do to posture. You know, there's a lot of political speak out there of, well, he does something like this when his ratings are low, and you know, he did it so that he could prove that he wasn't in bed with Putin, and I mean, there's all kinds of things. I like I said, I don't know that I support what he did in Syria, but he did, and as long as it doesn't go any further, I guess it's a wake-up call to them, but so was Clinton's when he bombed the aspirin factory, and what did that accomplish?
Yeah. You know, I share your same feelings on this, but then also I'm looking at the entire world map, and I put Iran as the main puppet player over in the Middle East, and then I look across the water to North Korea and that absolutely inhumane Kim Jong-un, and what they're threatening us with this weekend, they're saying that they might have a sixth biggest nuclear test, and then also they let out the information that they say they have the capability of putting sarin gas on a warhead and hopefully hitting the western part of the United States. You know, it seems like the world is coming apart, and I honestly say this, that the Obama administration, all they did for 8 years, in my opinion, was put Scotch tape on this stuff, and now it's all unraveling at the seam.
Well, they not only put Scotch tape on it, he let them know very clearly by what he did and said that he didn't intend to do anything, and the rest of the world could go to heck in a handbasket, and it wouldn't matter. He wasn't going to do anything. He would buddy up to the Middle Eastern Muslim group, and that's really all that he cared about. You could tell that that was his agenda. The thing of it is that China has placed 150,000 troops on their border next to Korea, and I would think that would be a message to the little guy with the bad haircut in Korea that it's time to pull back and not be so bold, because you might end up getting nuked yourself.
I don't think that this administration, I'm talking about the North Korean administration with Kim Jong-un, the fat little boy with the bad haircut, like you put it, I don't think he cares. I don't think there's a humanity in that administration. I don't think there's a caring. I don't think there's a well-being for anyone.
Well, and that's what happens when you have a country that passes down the control from father to son. The father wasn't that good, and the father before him wasn't that good, and now you've got something coming out of what we've got right now that's really bad. And the thing of it is that they're just going to continue that way until somebody overthrows them or does something drastic. And this may be where it's at, is that China will have to do something. I don't see us doing anything. That's not our part of the world, and I think that China needs to oversee this one.
I agree with that. Let's take this caller quickly with a question. Fast caller, please. You're on the air.
Yes. Good morning, Rita. My question is the living conditions that the North Korean people live in, which is deplorable from what I've read and understand. Only the elites are doing well. I really don't think that little sawed-off pain in the butt is all too concerned about his people. He doesn't care to feed them, doesn't care to take care of them. What do you think would make him stop from killing his own people to prove a point?
Nothing. Nothing. I totally agree. I said he's the most inhumane person, I think, that I've seen come into power in a long time. Rita, respond to the caller, please.
No, I think he's absolutely right. The thing that you get with communism, and that's basically what they've got in that country, is that, the government's all in control, and this is part of a family that's been in control for a number of years, and they don't care about their people. The reason why they don't have decent places to live is because they don't have any freedom and liberty, and people can't work and accomplish things on their own. They've got an oppressive government, and this government will starve them to death as much as he would gas them. So he's in really no better than others who have done this. He needs to be removed. It needs to happen, and I think China's the one who needs to do it in the interest of safety for the rest of the world.
I agree.
And I can see China being able to step in and do that.
Rita, this next little subject matter that I want to get into, you and I have talked about it before, and I just sit here and I am in shock and awe as to how stupid, gullible, and naive our politicians and our American public can be when we find out that PBS, Public Broadcasting Service, is putting on the air a video of training and solicitation programs for ISIS. It's called Dying to be a Martyr. I mean, I just absolutely am so blown away that we can be this dumb.
Well, you're absolutely right, and we've known for many years that PBS is a left-wing outfit, and we're funding them. And until enough people stand up and say, no more, we are not going to fund that kind of stuff, they'll keep doing it because they have a bank account that won't quit. They're getting the money that they need to run it, and they're running whatever they want. And I think sometimes they even go out on a limb. I read that same article, and it's basically Dying to be a Martyr lesson plan. It's offered through PBS, and educators can access that and get that information. And you know darn good and well, and so do I, that college professors and even probably a lot of school teachers will think, oh, this is a good deal. We should just show this and teach it. And they'll have it in the classrooms. It'll be in the classrooms of junior high and high school, maybe even grade school. I don't know. But it'll be there, and it'll be there in college, showing what we should do and how we should be sympathetic and what their objectives are. And they said, well, it's about, how the religious can unite or divide people, and that's why we're doing that kind of thing. Well, it's a bunch of baloney, and we shouldn't be funding it.
Well, let's be fair here. If the education is going to take care of this, the National Education Department is going to help fund this, then why, in a similar search for lesson plans that were put forth, there is no covering of Christianity, Buddhism, Mormonism, Protestantism, Catholicism, Hinduism, or anything? Nothing in the school system is allowed in that regard. But why are they pushing the 5 pillars of Islam? You know as well as I do. And I think it's high time to stand up and say enough is enough. Students are taught about foundational Islamic beliefs and are told to construct a poster, on the 5 pillars, and then teachers are instructed to have students meet with Muslim leaders in the community. This is a blatant attempt to push Islam.
It's definitely proselytizing, and they're doing it under the thing of, well, we have to let people know what this is all about. Well, that's baloney. They don't let Mormon missionaries on PBS and start proselytizing, and they don't let Christian missionaries that go all over the world preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ to come on and do that kind of thing. They'll maybe say, well, these people are over in in Africa taking care of people, and, like Franklin Graham and his groups and stuff like that. They don't let them proselytize on TV.
That's right. or
anything else, and the government doesn't fund it. So they're afraid that if they don't, there will be repercussions from the Islamists.
Absolutely.
I think it's all about fear.
I do too, and people are caving in. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, I look at what the city of Twin Falls has done earlier this week, and it could go from there to the classroom real easy. I'll let you comment on it.
Caller, I appreciate that call, and I will say this. Rita, I wanted to get your remarks. That was on my list here this morning. The city of Twin Falls, the mayor and his so-called followers right over the cliff like lemmings, the city council, the Times News, College of Southern Idaho Refugee Center, there was a lot of condemnation against anybody that did not agree with the refugees coming into this area, and Twin Falls making a blatant attempt to say, well, we're a welcoming city. That caller has a good point there. It seems to me that Twin Falls has really gone to the left, and anybody else that does not agree with their policies or their actions, they are using the story that was in the paper, bigots and small-minded.
Well, that's their way of intimidating people to just shut up and let them do what they want to do. Anytime that you have something that you want to promote and sounds like that it's a good idea or something good that you think ought to be out there, you put it out there, and somebody starts condemning you because they think that you're stupid, especially if it has anything to do with anybody's virtues or values. They're going to condemn it, and so their thing is, let's just jump on the bus and we'll just start, condemning them and lying to the public and making it look like they're just real idiots, and then we'll get our way and we can do what we want to do. It's just their agenda, and I think that a lot of them are just sheeple. Those people on the left, a lot of them don't really know the facts. They don't know what's going on. They don't understand it. We could go to Travis Klost and ask him, Travis, would you like to have those little boys living next door to you if you had a little daughter who was special needs and maybe wasn't didn't maybe have all of their knowledge and everything of these kind of people, and have those little boys that did that thing? Would you want your kids to be living right next door to them? Or would you like the mess that they bring and leave, and how terrible it is, and the violence that they bring in their communities when they get going? No, he wouldn't like that. But you know what? He won't look at the things and say, you know what, this isn't something we ought to be promoting. Let's just kind of let it lay low, and we're not going to promote it. So I put the blame on the editors. I put the blame on the leftists who, well, it's okay if it's not in my neighborhood, but if it's in somebody else's neighborhood, it doesn't really matter.
Absolutely well stated. Now, I'm going to take this call, but caller, I caution you to make it short because I've got a weather forecast I have to get on here. Go ahead, you're on the air. Are you there, caller? Evidently, they hung up. Okay, we'll get our weather forecast on right now. And weather brought to you this hour by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Wheels, watch the feedback over there, please. And, of course, they have been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. With the best of tax return preparation, tax planning, financial statement preparation, business consulting, retirement planning. The list goes on, and so do their services. You be sure and get a hold of them today. In offices in Burley and Rupert, Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Well, today looks like spring. Tomorrow, put your hair up in a hat. And Saturday, we might be able to get to work in the yard. Here is your weather forecast for This is at the ranch. Yes, windy for today out of the west, right around 19 miles an hour. 90% chance of rain showers for today as well. High of 55, tonight low of 37. Tomorrow, winds, they're still going to be around out of the west, right around 20 miles an hour, but partly cloudy skies. High of 48, overnight low of 29. Everything calming down for Saturday. Sun is going to shine, high of 55, overnight low of 34. Then for Sunday, mostly cloudy skies and 64. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
And we're very honored to have Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company as our sponsor of the weather this hour. They've been, like I said, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years, with locations at 1710 Overland Avenue in Burley and 625th Street in Rupert. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Thank you. Wheels, do we have that caller back on the air, or did they hang up? I could not hear a thing.
No, I still have Adrian on the phone for you, but let me pot him up and see if it's working this time.
All right. Adrian, quickly, if you would, please, go. You're on the air.
Yeah, well, most people are still got their head in the sand that Islam, followers of the Quran, it's a theocracy. It's more than just they're hiding behind this religious facade. And for 1,400 years, they've been trying to conquest the world, and they're going to either do it by jihad or by just population. And so people don't understand that, but to see that they're teaching it in schools has got to be stopped, like you've been talking about. So,
absolutely.
Anyway, that's my comment on it.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your call. Go ahead, Rita, respond.
No, he's absolutely right. Their mission, they believe that that's their destiny. So they probably believe that's their destiny as much as I do, in that I know I'm supposed to be a Christian and try to do good to all mankind and live the laws that Jesus taught. They believe that ever as much as I do. The only difference is that they believe that they will convert. You either convert or die. With me, it's kind of like, well, if you don't want to believe that, you're just missing out, but so be it. We can still be friends. I don't want to kill them or feel like that they either have to convert or die, and that's the difference. And they're supposed to do it around the world until everybody is converted over to Islam, and the only way they can do that is to start killing people.
One other subject, and when does this absolute insanity and idiocy end? I mean, when you think you've reached the bottom of the barrel, there's a deeper bottom. You know, I had with me Matt Walsh on the program yesterday talking about his new book called The Unholy Trinity, and he was breaking down just absolutely how repugnant the LGBT and the transgenders are getting, demanding that there are now almost like 30, 40 different transgender terms, whether it's bigender, agender, demigender, gender fluid, gender flux. You know, Rita, I don't care. God made two genders, male and female. I go by that. I will not do anything else to support them. I will do only things to denigrate them, because this is ridiculous.
Well, it is quite ridiculous, and I think that if there wasn't so much attention to it, it'd probably die down and people wouldn't think they needed to do it. I think that one of the biggest things is it's done for attention. I don't think it's because in their heart of hearts they really believe that they were somebody else. However, if that's what they want to think, okay, fine. But you don't need special rights. You just need equal rights. And they're asking for special rights. And their special rights infringe upon the rights of all the rest of us. And that's where it needs to stop, is they can be whatever they want to be. If they enjoy wearing dresses instead of jeans, I don't really care. I just don't want them to take away my rights for privacy and those things, which is what they're trying to do. We want special rights, so we're going to take away your rights, and that's wrong.
Absolutely. Rita, I don't know how much you have traveled in the past or how much you plan on traveling in the future, but I really spent a lot of time on various airline planes all across the United States, going to Europe, going up into Canada, everywhere. I've flown all over. And what happened this week with United Airlines and the absolute Gestapo tactics of literally beating a guy senseless and dragging him off a plane for the simple fact that he was a paid ticket seat and he was sitting in his paid ticket seat and they wanted to replace him. This is insane.
Well, I think we don't know the whole story, and what we saw in the videos was just the end of it. He was getting really, really belligerent before anybody ever started filming things. I don't feel like that it was handled the way that it could have been handled. And I know that there is a situation that sometimes the airlines have to bump you off. He was one of those in that circumstance. That's why he was targeted, is that he was like, okay, you're going to be the one that gets bumped. And it's sad the way that it turned out, because it didn't need to happen that way. But I also think he has a lot of responsibility in that. I mean, what in the heck? A grown man screaming and crying, that is just bizarre.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
So I can see where a lot of the people on the airlines all of a sudden were going, uh-oh, we've got a basket case here. We need to get him off the plane under whatever we have to do. And like I said, I don't agree with the way that it was handled. But when you buy a ticket, you can read the fine print, and they have the right to bump you off if they need to. Generally, they will offer all kinds of things, and then sometimes if you don't accept, it's just, well, sorry, this is the way it is. And so I really feel bad the way that it was handled, because I don't think it was handled properly. But I think that guy needs to take a little responsibility in the way things turned out.
All right, your opinion, and I appreciate that. Now, caller, I've got to ask you to be quick. I've got 2 minutes left. Go ahead.
No problem. I just want to know what your response will be when there's an Islamic attack, probably in the Twin Falls area. How do you think the mayor and the city council over there and the liberals and progressives will respond to that when there's a beheading or a murder committed by an Islamist? Thank you.
And caller, I might caution you on speculation over circumstances that have not availed or prevailed themselves in this area, or for that matter, in a lot of cities in America. But I understand your concerns, and I think that the left has buried their head in the sand looking at just rose-colored glasses for the future. Rita, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I think that it's a possibility, and if it does happen, I think that those of us that have been opposed to this will be blamed because we provoked it.
Yeah.
That's the way that they do things like that, is they always place blame someplace else. They don't place it on the person who did what they did, or how it was, everything was all okay with all those other people. It will be those of us that opposed it. We provoked it, and so, well, that's the way it is.
It really does say a lot. I agree with the caller's stance on this, that you either go along with the philosophy and the politics, per se, of the Twin Falls City Council, the mayor, be that as he is, and also the CSI Refugee Center and the Times News. You either go along with them, or you're considered the outsider that's the bigot and the small-minded person. I know I'm reiterating that point again, but it's the truth, Rita, and you know it.
Well, it is, and it's sad, but it's because there aren't enough people that will get up and say, you know what, there's 90% of us in this area who are really opposed to this, and we don't want it. And, just like, I don't know whether you saw it or not, the other day there was a Syrian that they were asking questions about Syria, and he says, you know what, we just want to be in our own country. We don't want to go anyplace else. Just let us stay in our own country.
I agree.
So, they need to get that under control. We don't need to house all of them.
Rita, time goes too fast. Real quick, I only got 10 seconds. What's going on with the Tea Party?
we're having Russ Fulcher, who is the gubernatorial candidate for governor, come to our meeting tonight. It'll be at 7 o'clock at the city of Burley. There's also a meet and greet with him at 5 to 6:30 at Perkins tonight if you want to attend that instead and have a bite to eat.
All right. Rita Ramsey, dear friend, and look forward to next Thursday. Thank you, Rita.
Okay, thank you.
You
Bye.
betcha. Bye-bye. I love having her on the air. Hey, you know what? About this time of the... I know you're way ahead of me. You're way ahead of me. I get hungry, and I'm starving to death. Let me just tantalize your taste buds. How about let's stop at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. They've got a special for the month of April. Shrimp and fries for just $6.50. And fish and chips for $6.50. Chicken fried steak sandwiches, combo meals, famous Farmer Brown burger. Oh, delicious. At the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, how about Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley? They've got that new pork burrito with beans, pork, rice, sour cream, cheese. Oh, it is good. And that breakfast burrito with scrambled eggs, bacon and sausage, cheese, onions, tomatoes, and sauce. Knock your boots off delicious at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, let's move over to Burgers, etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. Oh, my goodness sakes. I should say 700 Overland in Burley. There you go. Corn dogs or burritos, only 99 cents after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll take 10. And by golly, they also have shrimp baskets. And every Sunday at the Burley location, shrimp dinner for only $5.99. $5.99, and it's delicious. Don't forget, they're going to be closed on Easter, but you can stop in today. Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. Let's mention, too, Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. They've got that new salad. The chicken breast salad with bacon and all the goodies. Ooh, it is tasty. And buffalo burgers and a different soup every day. And cupcakes. They've got cupcakes and friendly servers and a dedicated staff. You're going to love it. Open Monday to Saturday, 11 to 9 p.m. at Steve-O's in Hayburn. And last but not least, Doc's Pizza. Whoa, buddy. 514 6th Street, right on the square in Rupert. And they've got take and bake pizzas. You take them home, bake them in your own oven, and sit there and watch TV and just enjoy. Oh, my goodness sakes, they've got delicious pizzas, and they got salads and soups and sub-sandwiches. All of this and more at Doc's Pizza, 514 6th Street in Rupert. And those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. We're going to take a little break. Let CBS News come in here and mess things up, and then we'll be back in about 7 minutes. More Zeb at the Ranch. Have a good day. I'll be right back. Oh, my. I was talking to Goober, and quite frankly, I didn't even hear the music play. My bad. Sorry, Wheels. Hey, by the way, Zeb at the Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a major spring tire sale going on right now. And some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Excuse me, call them at 734-6969. We got some things to cover here. I need to get on the air quite a bit before we go to Cassia County School Days. First of all, we talked to Jason Lee a little while ago, and he announced a new no tax plan. That's right. This is a big sale. Big sale going on at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. No money down, no interest for 12 months on approved credit. You heard him talking about the great carpet buys. You heard him talking about the Beauty Rest mattress event. You heard him talking about the great selection of recliners. You heard him talking about the living room sets. They're on sale. You can't beat these prices. You better get in today to Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. 459 Overland in Burley. They're waiting to see you. I had a note come in, and I hope this lovely lady's listening because I almost forgot to put it on the air this morning, that Tommy Ahlquist, who is running for governor, will be in Rupert at the Drift Inn this Saturday, April 15th from 4 to 5 p.m. Elaine Stevenson, I hope you hear this. I finally got it on this morning. I almost forgot. So that's going to be Tommy Ahlquist at the Drift Inn in Rupert Saturday, the 15th, from 4 to 5 p.m. Easter weekend, and those wishing you a very happy Easter include the Book Plaza at 222 West 11th Street in Burley. My goodness, Colonel Dale. Colonel Dale, my buddy. I love that man. He's such a nice gentleman. And they've got all your Easter needs, precious moments, figurines, books, thousands and thousands of books, and, of course, jewelry and teaching aids, candle sets, greeting cards. It's all there. You'll never go away empty-handed from the Book Plaza, 222 West 11th Street in Burley, wishing you a very happy Easter. Also, the Goodie Shop at 133 West Main Street in Burley. Oh, my goodness, they can create a basket for you, your family members. It is phenomenal and always delicious. Check it out. Goodie Shop, 133 West Main Street in Burley. The number to call, 647-0106. My goodness, it's good at the Goodie Shop. And Perkins Restaurant, 800 North Overland in Burley. Oh, strawberry pie. I love strawberry pie. And they've got great bakery items, fruit and cream pies and cookies, and you buy 3 muffins and get 3 free. Oh, and don't forget they're going to have a big Easter dinner for you at Perkins. Ham or turkey and all the trimmings for just $9.39. Oh my, Perkins Restaurant, 800 North Overland in Burley. All of these businesses wish you and yours a very happy Easter. Right now it's time for Cache County School Days. And we're going to get right into that. And Cache County School Days, of course, brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. All the spring outfits are there. Come in and choose a spring outfit, and you can get them for 20% off. And if you've got a brand spanking new baby and need some of the furniture, they've got cribs 50% off. And you can always find very affordable baby gifts. My goodness, at A Child's World. 1308 Overland in Burley. And our other sponsor of Cache County School Days, Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue, Suite E in Burley. And it's the only place in southern Idaho to have glaucoma surgery and life-saving colonoscopies and all your outpatient surgeries, and you can save money by going to the Ambulatory Surgery Center, 677-8888. They're located at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Right now, it's time to go to the telephone line, and I believe we have the 5th grade teacher at Declo Elementary, Shirley Matthews. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, Zeb. Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Don't you just hate being cooped up with all the kiddies when you get a day like this?
Oh, no. No, we've suffered through the winter, so we're ready.
Okay. Well, what's this I hear about a great big pie social going on at Declo Elementary? When you wave that 3-letter word pie in front of my face, where, lady, and what time?
Well, I'll tell you what. First off, PIE stands for Partners in Education.
Oh, I see.
And because the acronym's so fitting, of course we have to serve pie afterwards.
I see. Well, what exactly are you trying to take care of at this symposium?
Okay, Declo is a Title I school, and we encourage parents to be so actively involved with everything in the school, and we love that communication piece, and that's why it's called Partners in Education.
Okay.
And so we've invited our parents to come out for an evening to hear their children sing, and we've invited some really special guest speakers who are going to attend. We have Dr. Brad Wynn from Minidoka Memorial Hospital, who he has a practice in Minidoka at the hospital there, and he will be speaking to the parents about the importance of sleep for children.
Ah. Okay. Now, I'm going to stop you right there. When daylight save, I'm going to ask you a question that has really no pertinency to this program, but I think in long range, it does play a lot in their sleep. Daylight saving time, are you in favor of it for students with the change in the middle of the school year?
You know, personally, I wish it just stayed the same forever.
Me too. Me too. But do you notice a change in the children? When they arrive in the morning, are they a little bit more sleepy, or have you noticed no changes whatsoever?
Oh, I think they're like any of us. They feel the reaction, and it's a difference in their little clock cycles. So, of course, they show a difference.
Okay. Now, talking about sleep, I know that when I was a student, way back when they still circled the covered wagons at night, I get too keyed up. I get to thinking about this, and I get to thinking about maybe baseball practice, or I'd be thinking about something else. It's hard to force kids to go to bed and go to sleep, isn't it?
Oh, it is, isn't it? And as a parent, you know that.
Right. So what is Dr. Wynn going to try to give us as secrets on how to get these kids more sleep?
Well, I think if you really want to know, you'll come to the symposium and find out.
You're good. You're good. Okay, who else is going to be speaking there?
Okay, and we have Mrs. Paula Barthelmess that's coming. And Paula was here in the Minicaja area, and she is an LCSW clinician.
Okay.
And moved to the Treasure Valley and began opening her clinics, and they are mental health clinics. And she's going to be speaking to our parents about different mental health issues that we see in children today, and some helps that are available.
Now, when you say mental health issues that are prevalent today, would you mind discerning some of those, please?
Well, I think that what we all know and we see, we have a lot of children that are diagnosed with various different mental health issues. Anything, if you're on the spectrum, if you're talking ADD or ADHD, that all pertains to that same umbrella of that area. And she's going to offer us some information on that and possibly some good help for different areas that parents can go to look for help or look for recognizing issues they may have.
Okay. Now, what about parents that go, holy smokes, I can't find a babysitter. I want to be involved in my children's education, but we've got 4 little kids and they're climbing the curtains and everything, and what are we going to do with them? What is the solution to the problem?
Well, the solution is we thought of that for them, and we're going to offer child care services.
Okay, so they can go to the school, and the little ones will be taken care of, right?
The little ones will be invited to come into the main building, where we will have ample volunteers, both adults and high school students here, to play games, and there will be some cartoons playing and activities for them so that the parents can find time to hear some really good speakers, knowing their little ones are cared for as well.
I like that idea. Now, then, my dear Shirley, after the whole evening is completed, do I finally get a piece of pie?
You do indeed. If you stick it out and hear our fabulous 3rd and 5th graders under the direction of Mrs. Trina Smith perform for us, then we're all going to enjoy pie, because what would be a pie social without pie?
Absolutely. Now, is there a charge for this, or is it free? And give us all the particulars one more time.
This is absolutely free. We are going to hold this in our elementary gymnasium here at Declo Elementary. It will begin promptly at 6:30 and wrap up hopefully within an hour 15.
Okay, so that's tomorrow night, a Partners in Education, a pie social, and it's going to be at the elementary gym in Declo, 6:30 to 8 p.m., correct?
Absolutely.
And the little ones, instead of climbing the curtains at home, they can have fun right there at the school. So bring them and they'll be taken care of.
Absolutely.
You know, is there anything else you want to mention on this before we go, Shirley?
Well, I just appreciate the opportunity to spread the word. And I know when I was a young mother and had small children, we always wanted to ask that advice from somebody. And I was lucky I always had my mother, but maybe there are parents out there that don't. So what a great way to get professional information.
Absolutely. Once again, that's tomorrow evening, the 14th, and it's going to be a Partners in Education Pie social, followed by Pie, at the elementary gym in Declo, 6:30 to 8 p.m., and we've just visited with the 5th grade teacher, Shirley Matthews. God bless you, and have a happy Easter weekend, Shirley.
Hey, thank you so much. You as well.
All right, thank you very much. Nice lady right there, and that's Cassia County School Days. Debbie Critchfield does a wonderful job of lining up our guests on this program, and I really appreciate it. And they're sponsored by, of course, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and a family store, and shop local and save at A Child's World. And also Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue, Suite E in Burley. And for your outpatient surgeries, you better check with them. And my phone's going off. Pardon me, everybody. I can't take that call right now. And Deanne, I think that's a call for you coming in on my cell phone. And don't forget to, I was in the middle of this, your Ambulatory Surgery Center at 677-8888. Yes, it was, and they're still on there. I think slide that bar over. And be sure and say thank you to both the Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World for bringing you Cassia County School Days. Deanne was expecting a call, and we had given them my cell phone number, and I apologize for that. We are just a moment going to have our business salute, so stay tuned for that. But first and foremost, as I get everything regathered, Scott Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. Oh my, what a busy time they're having right now with all of the sprinkler systems that need to be repaired and the new sprinkler systems that are being put in. And all you have to do is call Scott Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service at 438-2485. And don't forget, too, all your fruit trees need to be trimmed. Wow. They can do it. They have done it in the past, and they are excellent. You give them a call today. Scott Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, 438-2485, serving you. Let's check with Wheels and see if we have Dr. Christine Pickup. Is she ready to go, Wheels?
Give me 1 minute, sir.
I won't give you that long, but I'll give you 30 seconds. All right, go ahead, Wheels. Fine, take care of it. Real quick, I mentioned some of our public service announcements, and I did neglect to get one on the air, and I need to do that right away. Don't forget that the benefit for Brett Anthon is going to be held at the Rupert Elks Lodge this Saturday, and it's going to start at 6 p.m., and they're going to have live music with Heather Platts, Blaine Cannon Band, Kent Jensen Band, the Potato Bar, and the proceeds are going to help Brett Anthon and his family as he went through a terrible, terrible automobile accident, and like I said, it's $15 at the door. It's going to be at the Rupert Elks Lodge this Saturday night, starting at 6 p.m. Let's check back over with Wheels. How we doing, buddy?
Yes, sir. I apologize. She's on the phone.
Oh, you don't have to apologize. That's fine. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Right now, a lovely lady, and I believe she is at the Southern Idaho Women's Expo, and that's Dr. Christine Pickup with Mount Harrison Audiology. How are you?
I am well. How are you, Zeb?
Fantastic. Well, tell me, what are you doing this morning?
Well, we're visiting with lots of people here at the Southern Idaho Women's Expo.
Well, now, what's the gist of the questions that people might have about hearing and hearing problems, etc.?
Well, a lot of them want to know, how it affects their overall health. Hearing is such a complex sense. It actually interplays with our brain health, our cardiovascular health. All of those things are affected, or affect our hearing.
When you say that, and you've told me that many, many times, it's not necessarily at all getting older. A lot of things are contributory towards a lack of hearing, right?
Absolutely. Noise exposure is
cumulative over time. So if you've been shooting guns in your 20s, you're most likely to have more hearing loss in your 40s. And it's not because you're getting older, it's just because you've had more exposure to that kind of damaging noise. Health problems can really contribute to your hearing. If you have trouble with your heart or your kidneys, that can affect your hearing. And then your hearing, in turn, affects how well your brain functions.
Right. Now, one thing that we talked about on previous programs that I've had with you is sometimes, and I really didn't know this, that hearing can be diminished because of medication. Explain that.
Absolutely. There are medications that are ototoxic. They actually damage the inner ear and affect your hearing. And unfortunately, sometimes it's a choice between saving your life or saving your hearing. But other things are a little bit more subtle. For example, a drug that a lot of people take for depression or anxiety can cause ringing in your ears, terrible ringing in your ears. There's a medication for prostate problems that can cause terrible dizziness that affects the inner ear on the balance side. So there are a lot of drugs that can affect how well you hear or affect your balance.
What would you tell people, Dr. Pickup, I mean, if they're noticing a diminishment in hearing? I mean, I went through the hearing screening test, and I want to tell everybody again, I've said it 1,000 times, there is nothing that's going to hurt you or poke you or anything else. Actually, the hearing screening test I found to be rather entertaining and kind of fun. It's simple, isn't it, to check out and see exactly where your hearing is at?
It's a wise thing to do. We ought to, once you hit the age of 40, we ought to do an annual base, or at least get a good baseline, and then annual or semi-annual rechecks just to kind of watch, because sometimes hearing loss is the first symptom of other health problems, and it's really easy to catch some of those things earlier than later.
You know, when somebody does have a problem, and yes, I was having a problem hearing, there's not the jump off the cliff attitude. There's a lot of easy solutions to help enhance hearing, isn't there?
Absolutely, and we have solutions for every type of hearing loss, every budget. We want people to get help and be healthy. So we're there to serve you and to get you the best life you can.
You know, I want you to brag on yourself a little bit, because I find you to be one of the most educated, knowledgeable, just veritable encyclopedias of knowledge on sound and hearing. You know just about everything there is about sound. And tell us a little bit about your background.
I'm blushing. Well, I started with sound in general. I actually started in high school. I worked as a sound geek for the theater department, and that was my first brush with microphones and doing things to make sound really good. And then that morphed into an interest in how our ears work. And so I jumped into college studying audiology, declared my major my first semester, and just went for it. So I have a bachelor's and master's degree from Brigham Young University. And then later on I went back to school and got my doctorate at A.T. Still University, which is a medical university. All they do are post-bachelor medical degrees. So they have a medical school, they have a dental school, they have an audiology school, physical therapy, and that's where I did my doctorate.
Wow. And then, of course, now the only locally owned and independent hearing healthcare practice in southern Idaho, Dr. Christine Pickup. What are you telling people, or what are they asking over at the Southern Idaho Women's Expo? I mean, are people open and ready to share hearing experiences, or are they a little bit timid about saying they can't hear something?
People generally are timid, so we're just there to share information. One fun thing I want to pass by is we are having, and we're just announcing it today, we're going to do a Sounds of Summer scavenger hunt. And cards are available at our office, and we're encouraging people to go out and enjoy all the neat things that are happening here in Nikaja during the summer. There's all kinds of wonderful things you can listen to and enjoy. And so we're having a contest, and the rules are going to be up on our website and Facebook page. So basically, you attend 4 different activities throughout the summer, and you keep track of it all, and you have to bring in your card with your receipts that you actually did it. And then we're going to have some neat prizes. We'll, in a drawing at the end, the grand prize will be $500 off a pair of hearing aids. And then there'll be other prizes, too. But we just really want to encourage people to get out and enjoy our area. There's so many wonderful things to listen to and enjoy, and we want do something fun that will encourage people to do that.
Absolutely. Now, for those in the audience that are unaware as to where Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids is located and your hours, give us the complete rundown, would you please?
Yes, sir. We are right behind the Minidoka Memorial Hospital in Rupert. Our office is in the medical complex, which is just north of the hospital. So if you find the ER entrance and look across the parking lot, we're the second office on the left, right next to Minidoka Chiropractic. We are there Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. We take an hour lunch, and we are just thrilled to be able to be of service to our community.
Absolutely, and I swear by this business and this nice lady, because they can and will help you at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and the number to call, 312-0957. Dr. Pickup, God bless you, and I would imagine you're going to have a busy, busy day, because I talked to Kyla with the Chamber of Commerce earlier, and she said there's quite a few people there. Is that right?
That's true, and they keep coming, so we're excited to meet you all. Come on down.
All right. Thank you, and have a very happy and blessed Easter weekend.
Thank you, Zeb. You as well. Give Deanne my best.
I will. Thank you so much. What a nice lady, and she is just that. Christine Pickup, the doctor of audiology and hearing aids at Mount Harrison Audiology. Very, very nice lady. Let me just quickly, I want to be sure and hit these again because I didn't give them, I think, enough coverage earlier. Once again, the benefit dinner and auction for the Whitaker family is going to take place tonight at the Raft River High School gym. 6:30 starting time, dinner, and then the auction. And, of course, the proceeds going to help the Whitaker family that really had their home damaged by the flooding up there. And then on Saturday night at the Rupert Elks, don't forget the benefit event for Brett Anthon. Had that terrible auto accident. They're going to have $15 at the door, music, potato bar, everything at the Rupert Elks. And then also, as I promised I'd get this back on the air, Tommy Ahlquist, that is running for governor of the state of Idaho, is going to be in Rupert at the Drift Inn on Saturday, April 15th from 4 until 5 p.m. Got them all covered. Right now, we're going to send it back over to Wheels at our main studio. We'll be back in about 3 or 4 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Wow, you talk about busy days. We've been running around in circles since about 8:06 this morning, and we appreciate all your calls, all your comments. This next gentleman that we're going to have on the air is a gentleman that I really trust for his opinion on economics and money and financial standings, etc. He's the chairman of the Society to Advance Financial Education, and he's been on our program quite a few times in the past. And I say good morning to Steve Beeman. Sir, how are you?
I am well, and good morning to you, my friend.
Well, bring us up to speed. What's life in the fast lane with Steve Beeman and economics and currency?
Well, clearly I'm watching all the geopolitical news that's going on in the last month, whether it's the Middle Eastern situation with the Syrians obviously escalating with the gas attack, or North Korea that is threatening another nuclear detonation this coming Saturday. There's a lot going on, and that all threatens the markets, of course, which are responding slightly negatively today. But, these are things that are real. They're affecting us, and nobody knows really how it's going to come out.
You know, Steve, nobody that I've had on my program does a better job of explaining exactly how the markets are affected and what's going to possibly happen with our currency and the dollar value, etc. When you look at the world situation right now with China and, of course, with North Korea and Syria, Iran being the puppet master over in the Middle East, what are your concerns about the economics of this entire situation?
Well, clearly you have several fronts of that. Number one, the markets don't like uncertainty and they don't like fear. So to the extent you get increasing uncertainty, that takes away valuations from the market. Now, that's going to be a double-edged sword here in the U.S. Obviously, it'll continue to make the Fed keep interest rates low, but that's bad for savers. So The fear and uncertainty is what's going to cause the markets. Now, economically, the other issue of this, of course, is the cost. We launched these sorties on Syria. That's billions of dollars that we spend on that. Putting this carrier group now into the North Korean peninsula, that's a very expensive thing. So as we're trying to rein in $600 billion deficits, this military action is a quick way to burn capital.
What about the value of our currency? I mean, what really is the American dollar worth today versus what it will buy?
Well, I think we have to look at currencies globally as, in terms of what they really are. They're a confidence game. And around the world, we have historically seen when there's fear in the marketplace, people flock to the U.S. dollar because we are the most stable economy in the world. You hear a lot of talk about our $19 trillion or $20 trillion in debt today, but you don't hear a lot of talk about our assets. And the United States, in aggregate, has about $200 trillion in assets. So we still have a relatively stable economy. Clearly we need to make some changes or we'll be in trouble in the future. But I think right now, if we see a lot of uncertainty in the world, you're going to see gold run up a bit. Today it's up about 1%. And you'll see people flock to dollars in very short-term instruments.
Steve, what about the Trump administration? What do you see since January 20th till now as far as the attitude towards Trump, his businessman's approach to the presidency? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think, Zeb, you bring up an interesting point. I mean, there are three things in the last 100 days or whatever many days there have been. Number one, the failure of them to put across the revisions to the Affordable Care Act has a lot of us deeply concerned. It seems to be moving away from the core beliefs of Trump's campaign into a more Washington-centric standard solution. So that's a concern. Secondly, this issue of launching the sorties into Syria is a real question. Trump campaigned directly against this kind of thing. There is no clear and present danger to the United States, so it's a stretch under the War Powers Act to even have the authority of the president to do this. And so you've got now this globalization of the administration. But third, on the other side, business seems to like him. Business, is doing well. Jamie Dimon at J.P. Morgan came out with a quote today talking about how positive their business is for consumers and businesses. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, but I think, like many of us, I'm a little concerned with the direction he's heading.
Okay. Now, what about the commercials? I'm jumping around here for a lack of time here this morning, Steve, so I apologize. But what about all these commercials on TV? Buy gold and invest in gold. And now we're even seeing commercials about, silver's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Buy silver. What are your reactions to all these commercials?
I have written many articles about it. I caution people. I think commodities, and that's where these fall, have a legitimate place in a portfolio, but they are ultimately protections against inflation. And we are not in a position of looking at hyperinflation in the United States. I know you hear talk about it, but we're genuinely not. And so I think if people overload on commodities like silver and gold, they're likely to be hurt. Let's keep in mind, we've been hearing people say that since 2008. The market's almost doubled. Or in fact, it has doubled, and gold is down by 30 or 40%. So we don't want to run emotionally into those things. We want to use our minds, not our hearts.
When you look at someone, and I'm going to be very honest and point blank blunt, an old man like me that maybe didn't save as much as he should have with liquidity and cash in his earlier years, and now is looking for better management of his money, what would you tell people, maybe the safe but conservative but yet garner a little bit of interest on their money? What should they do?
Well, I think first it is prudent for most people to secure an advisor. I know some advisors get bad reputations, but there are good ones out there. They're typically very disciplined in their approach. They're fee-based, so they don't charge on transactions. They charge a flat fee. And they'll put in a mixed basket, if you will, of some stocks, some bonds, some cash, some commodities, and some more active sector rotation type things. And I could explain that if we had more time, but the point being, they're going to be a little more active with your money, and that is going to get you more like a 4 or 5% return rather than a 1% return in bonds.
Does it ever get to the point where you tell people very honestly, it's too late, you can't make any money, just sit there and shrivel up, you're not going to do anything, or is it never too late?
I believe it's never too late. I always believe tomorrow is the first day of the rest of your life, and we need to act in that way, and it's never too late to both save, and it's never too late to be wiser with how we invest the resources we've been given.
Steve, let me go back, and we'll kind of turn the clock back a little bit. I think that when I was in high school, we had better education programs way back then in the 60s for teaching economics and the value of the dollar and how to learn and understand the handling of money. I don't think they're covering it at all today like they should. Am I wrong?
Well, I think some of them are. I have 6 kids who've come through public high schools here in the Illinois area, and they did a pretty good job of trying to teach those kids budgeting. The problem is we culturally don't teach it anymore. When you and I grew up in the 60s and 70s, we got a healthy dose of reality from our parents as well as from the school, but from the fact that we all worked beginning about 15 years old. These kids today get none of that advice from home. They get a limited amount in school, and they're told not to work when they're in high school. So they're getting a very different signal than we got. And to your point, I think it's a suboptimal way to do it. I'd like to go back a little bit to the old school on that.
Okay, but how do we do that? You know, there's a lot of things in education that I do not agree with today, and I'd like to see absolutely changed or even thrown out. But the money situation and economics, I look at these millennials that are doing nothing, and I'm not lumping them all together into a huge category because there are some really sharp young kids. But the bulk of what I'm seeing and hearing, they're doing nothing. They don't have any plans for the future. They don't see a future. How are we going to change that?
Well, that is in my mind, and I've written article after article about it, is the failure of the parents and a failure of the family. These kids are growing up in the first generations of post-marriage America. Most of them come from single-family homes, and if they have, 2 parents together, they're both parents are working full-time, so the kids get no advice. Throw that together with social media and an internet that seems to give them all the information they need, so they don't have a need for the wisdom of their parents in their mind. And if they're adjusted and adapted to things being free, because so many of the apps on their phones, so many of the things on the internet are free because they're advertiser supported. And I think to get back to that, the economy will do it, Zeb. I think ultimately the next generation will be in a position where they have to work, and through that they'll get respect. I mean, when the baby boomers retire and ultimately die off, these kids aren't going to be left with what they hope. They're going to have to fend for themselves.
Yeah, but let me play devil's advocacy with you a little bit on that subject. I'm convinced that many of these millennials are absolutely so subservient to government programs and so much of an advocate for getting more from the government. I don't think they'll ever change.
Well, no, I wouldn't disagree with you, Zeb. I think that this generation is in real trouble. But I think it's their kids who will realize that government can't solve the problems, because the millennial generation, I've said openly that if Trump fails in his programs, our next president is going to be Bernie Sanders. And I think they will move toward a socialist model, but just as that's failed everywhere in the world, it will fail here. And their kids will end up picking up the pieces, hopefully, and restoring the natural order of a free market.
I had a young millennial on my program a couple of weeks ago, Steve, that is the host of a talk show, heaven forbid, in California, and he blamed all of the ills on his generation on my generation, and basically called me a liar and a cheater for promising a lot of things to his generation and then not being able to provide them for him and his other ilk to prosper on. Why in the world should we just give generation to generation things when really the work ethic needs to be restored?
Well, I can't blame him for thinking that. Let's remember that young person grew up in a world where you got participation trophies in sports because they didn't want winners. They didn't want competition. They wanted everybody just to get along and have this phony notion of self-esteem. The real world, though, doesn't work like that. As you well know, when you go into a private business of any sort, whether it's a restaurant or IBM, competition among those jobs is keen. Competition amongst your competitors is keen. But these kids haven't been raised into that, and I blame their parents. I frankly do. I think to get it back, we need a resurgence of faith in this country, and we need a resurgence of family.
You know, you mentioned something that I want you to comment on. I'm almost out of time. But I have said for a long time, and I agree with Mike Rowe from the television series Dirty Jobs, and I've agreed with him for a long time, that we have put too much stress and punctuation on college educations, university educations, and we forgot about the trades like the electricians and the plumbers, etc. We need more of them, and there's not enough, and our society is going to be hurt because those people are not going into the trades.
No, you're exactly right, and I would argue and make the comment to anyone listening today in high school, consider becoming a plumber or electrician. They're making upwards of $100,000 a year. It's not a bad lifestyle. The trades are legitimate, and you're right. We've overstated the value of college, and that's because there's a massive incentive on the college's part to market their services. Government's thrown trillions of dollars at it, and they're giving the easy way out with poetry degrees that nobody cares about.
What about other countries in the same vein with their youth growing up and their problems of the next generation potentially taking over the government and leadership? Are we the only country that's seeing these kind of pains and these kind of attitudes, or are other countries suffering also?
No, we are about one generation behind most of Europe. They went through this, and they've come out with people like Angela Merkel in Germany. So that generation came up in a more government-centric mindset, and they've put in pseudo-socialists, and it hasn't worked for them. It won't work here. I just wish we could educate these young kids on money so they realize that a free transaction between free people is how you build wealth.
Okay, now capital, being a capitalist and the capitalistic society we live in. You mentioned this earlier about Bernie Sanders, and I fear, I'm 69 years old, Steve. I'm an old goat, but I will tell you that I fear for capitalism and the United States system because I think it's too easy to walk down that socialist path, and that's where I think the younger generation is headed.
I think you're right. And I wish we would get over the notion of almost using the phrase capitalism, because at the core of that argument is freedom. It's the freedom for me to build my own path in life. And you take that away, and we slip rapidly into the tyranny of that socialist utopia.
Absolutely. I wish I had more time, but I tell you, Steve, you're always welcome here. Thank you so much for being on my program this morning, and I hope you and your family have a blessed Easter weekend. Steve Beeman, Chairman of the Society to Advance Financial Education, thank you for being on the show this morning.
Well, many thanks. It's my privilege, and Godspeed to you, my friend, and continue the good work.
All right. Thank you very, very much. I really like that gentleman on my program, and he'll be back again in the near future. Steve Beeman, thank you very much for being on the show this morning. Oh, my goodness sakes, we've got to get the weather on here. And wheels, all of a sudden, things got a little lower over here in my studio, so if you could maybe boost what you send to me just a little bit, I'd appreciate it. The weather is brought to you by Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew over there. Oh, delicious meats. Oh, they've got new items like that buckboard bacon and different flavors, leaner and more economical than traditional bacon, and they got all the breakfast sausages and the bratwurst. Oh, it's delicious. You're going to love it. They're changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Well, today looks like spring. Tomorrow, put your hair up in a hat, and Saturday we might be able to get to work in the yard. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Yes, windy for today out of the west, right around 19 miles an hour. 90% chance of rain showers for today as well. High of 55, tonight low of 37. Tomorrow, winds, they're still going to be around out of the west, right around 20 miles an hour, but partly cloudy skies. High of 48, overnight low of 29. Everything calming down for Saturday. Sun is going to shine, high of 55, overnight low of 34. Then for Sunday, mostly cloudy skies and 64. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
I appreciate it, Gina. She does a wonderful job on our weather forecast, and I certainly thank her. Brought to you by Scarro's Meats. Don was going to try to make it into the studio here a couple of weeks ago, and his time schedule wouldn't allow him. And I was kind of hoping when he got here he'd bring some of that delicious bratwurst. But anyhow, 331 North Road, Jerome. Scarrows Meats. Number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. I certainly hope that you and yours have a blessed Easter weekend. And remember the weekend for what it is, Holy Week. Of course, with church services today and in remembrance of the Last Supper. Tomorrow, of course, Good Friday with the services on the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. And then, of course, on Sunday morning, with the services, Easter, He is risen. Hallelujah. And I thought what I would do at this time is just read a small portion of Matthew from the Bible about Easter weekend. That afternoon, the whole earth was covered with darkness for 3 hours, from noon until 3 o'clock. About 3 o'clock, Jesus shouted, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? Some of the bystanders misunderstood and thought he was calling for Elijah. One of them ran and filled a sponge with sour wine and put it on a stick and held it up to him and drank. But the rest said, leave him alone. Let's see whether Elijah will come and save him. Then Jesus shouted out again, dismissed his spirit, and died. And look, the curtain secluding the holiest place in the temple was split apart from top to bottom, and the earth shook, and rocks broke, and tombs opened, and many godly men and women who had died came back to life again. After Jesus' resurrection, they left the cemetery and went into Jerusalem, and appeared to many people in that location. The soldiers at the crucifixion and their sergeant were terribly frightened by the earthquake and all that had happened, and they exclaimed, surely this was the Son of God. This is Easter weekend, and I urge you, to attend the churches of your faith and remember the real meaning of Easter. I want to say thank you very much to our major sponsor, and that, of course, are Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. We have them every day on the program. We talk about them, brag about them, and it's never brag when it's fact, and it's absolute fact that they are always doing the right thing because it matters. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with a huge tire sale going on for spring. Tires like the Mastercraft LTR, STR, all-season performance tire, and good for mud and snow, and we hope we don't see any more snow, but we'll have plenty of mud. The Mastercraft LTR. Check out that tire and all the tires for your cars, pickups, SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers, whatever. They have them for you at all 7 locations, along with the very, very best of brake service, front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, but above all, the people. The people really make the difference at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with the best in service. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Absolutely the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I urge you to remember a couple of things. First of all, next week on Thursday, Lunch Bunch, Zeb's Lunch Bunch at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, on Thursday the 20th. Don't forget that. And our thanks go out to Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes, Doug Martin, and many others for helping us with our door prizes. So once again, that's going to be next Thursday the 20th at Denny's, America's Diner, Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Then, I told you this many, many times, that our dear friend Russell Smith, decorated war hero, 3 times Purple Heart recipient, is going to be celebrating his birthday coming up on May 6th, but we're going to celebrate it early. Now, Next Thursday at Lunch Bunch, we are going to have a huge cake in honor of Russell's birthday. We're going to have everybody have a piece of his birthday cake, and then we're going to have a special taping of all the fun that's going on, and we're going to send that tape of all the well wishes and the cutting of the birthday cake and the blowing out of the candles up to Russell in Pocatello. Please send your letters and your cards for his birthday to the Idaho State Veterans Home, 1957 Alvin Ricken Drive, room 70 in Pocatello, 83201. So that's what's going to happen next Thursday during Lunch Bunch at Denny's. So don't forget that. We're going to wrap things up and put it away for the week, and I want to thank my dear friend Wheels over at our main studios, and I want to remind you that we're on KBAR 1230 AM and then also worldwide on the internet service, zebbell.com. And don't forget my blog that comes out every week, Cow Pies and Coffee Cups. All you have to do is go to zebbell.com, punch in that you want to have the newsletter, give us your address, we'll send it to you, all of this and more. Until next Monday at 8:06, which we hope you have a wonderful, blessed Easter weekend. Remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. Wheels, if you would, have a happy Easter. We'll see you Monday at 8:06.